So maybe you're on the market for a VPN or wondering what a VPN can do for you. And the one I've got in mind is the most secure and best performing option, offering over 100 countries to virtually change your location to, not to mention some of the fastest speeds in the industry. And that VPN is Express. That said, there could be a couple deal breakers for some people, such as the lack of bonus features or not having a map interface or maybe even the price. So I'll go over what Express has to offer, give some pros and cons as well as my personal experience to help you decide whether or not it's the right VPN for you. And if that turns out to be the case that you do want it, I'll leave discounts in the description down below for you too. Alrighty, so overall, ExpressVPN's ability to function seamlessly between activities is unmatched. It doesn't matter if you're streaming, torrenting, gaming, or simply protecting your online activity from being monitored by your internet service provider or government. There's almost no need to manually configure that much because Express offers the most optimized servers for whatever you're up to. When it comes to streaming specifically, Express is one of the very few VPNs that are actually capable of getting around firewalls that are set by streaming services in order to prevent encrypted VPN connections from accessing their site. And that's because ExpressVPN servers have obfuscation technology, which means that your encrypted internet traffic will look like normal everyday traffic, which would allow you to easily get past these firewalls. So I've tested Express with Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, and several other streaming websites, and it worked great, especially when using the incognito browser as well. And the best thing about Express when it comes to streaming is that because ExpressVPN has their servers spread across 105 countries, you'll get access to any streaming service or library you'd want from around the world, pretty much. They even have virtual servers for countries that have strict laws against physical VPNs being there, like India and China. So these virtual servers are located outside these countries so that Express is not forced to log and share user data with the government, but they can still provide us with IP addresses from these countries so that we can access all their content. And then because Express is so fast, you can basically watch all your favorite shows in HD and 4K if you want to, assuming that your base internet speed allows you to do so, of course. And as far as torrenting goes, Express fully supports torrenting activities and they don't throttle your connection or set bandwidth limitations, so you can torrent to your heart's content. Now, before we get into gaming, we should first talk about internet speeds and how well ExpressVPN performs in that aspect, because it plays a huge role in bettering or worsening your ping, because speed drops are completely normal when it comes to VPNs because it takes time to encrypt your internet traffic. But that said, how much the speed drops is what differentiates between a good VPN and a lousy one. So any speed drop between 10 and 20% are considered excellent, and even up to 40% is still considered good, but really anything above that obviously would be sacrificing almost half your speed, and that's not worth it. But in Express's case, it hovers around 10% speed drops, and the most I ever saw was maybe 20 once upon a time, but that was while connecting to servers that were like located far away from me. So as far as gaming goes, this would barely affect your ping, and in some cases, if you connect to a VPN server near your game server and then set the protocol to lightweight UDP, you might even end up with better ping than your base ping. Now, as far as privacy goes, ExpressVPN has a strict no logs policy and operates on RAM-only servers, meaning that they do not log, store, or share your data to third-party advertisers. So simply put, whatever activity you do while using the VPN would be wiped out from the server, and not even Express themselves would get their hands on it. So a lot of VPN companies out there can't even back up what they claim or prove that they do what they say. That's why Express has gone through several audits by independent firms like KPMG, Cure53, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and they've all verified that Express does indeed hold up their policies and does not collect or share user data. Now, normally that's probably enough of an indicator as to whether or not a VPN can be trusted, but in Express's case, they kind of went beyond that when they got involved in like a real life test back in 2017, where one of their servers was seized by the government of Turkey as part of an ongoing investigation, only for them to find nothing on that server. So an incident like that proves that Express is not only trustworthy on paper, but in practice as well. And it's the reason why ExpressVPN is the most secure VPN out there. So for those of you who are privacy conscious and want the best in terms of privacy, Express is easily the best option here. So moving on to features, Express has all the essential ones tools, as well as a couple bonus features on the side. For example, you get the kill switch. This is the most important feature to have in your VPN because it makes sure none of your data leaks over to the internet service provider or government. It does that by severing the internet connection the second you accidentally disconnect from the VPN. So to give you an example, my internet service provider is not really that great. And sometimes I lose connection to the internet, which in turn disconnects me from the server. So in the interval between me disconnecting and reconnecting, some of my activity or data can be seen by people maybe lurking on my network or something. So the kill switch, however, it only makes sure that I'm connected to the internet while being protected by the VPN, and any accidental disconnections would just stop my internet access until I'm protected by the VPN again. Another feature I find to be really convenient is the split tunneling feature. So with this, I get to decide which apps use the VPN and which ones don't. For example, I can set my browser to be the only app that uses the VPN when I'm watching Netflix, while having my banking applications use my regular connection to avoid any issues resulting from IP conflicts with the banks. So not many people use this feature, and it's definitely niche, but once you get used to it, you'll notice how handy it is, especially for things like I mentioned. So outside of these two features, you also get something called Threat Manager. So that blocks most of the pop-ups and malware out there, and you can kind of use it as a form of parental control because it'll block adult websites as well. But as far as protocols go, Express updated their best one, Lightweight UDP, to Lightweight Turbo, which is still a little buggy at the moment. So you can still use the Open VPN protocol or the downgraded Lightweight UDP because it should still give you the best speeds. Or you can always set it back to automatic and it'll figure out which protocol works best based on the server and server location that you're using. Besides these, there's also the new Identity Defender feature, which is recently introduced by Express. It's a suite of identity theft protection tools that are designed to give you more control over your personal information. So this suite includes ID alerts, ID theft insurance, data removal, and credit scanner. So it's only available in the US as of the making of this video, but I hope they manage to release it soon for all their users. Now, that's as far as features go pretty much for Express. And as you might have noticed, there's not really that many bonus features offered by Express compared to the likes of, say, Nord. And it also doesn't let you customize that much for your VPN settings and whatnot. So that's why if you're primarily looking for a VPN with more stuff to tinker with or settings to configure, I would say Express might not be for you, and you'll find NordVPN a much better option. That said, this approach to simplicity by Express is very much intentional because they're steering away from the more advanced options that most beginners and intermediate users wouldn't even be interested in, and they just keep everything kind of 1 or 2 clicks away. And as I mentioned earlier, Express's servers are optimized for every single activity, so you won't ever feel the need for specialty servers. Basically, all you have to do is turn on the application, pick the server, click the on button, and that's all there is to it. And so while Express might not be the top choice of VPN for those that are looking for more advanced settings and bonus features, if you're someone who wants a straight out of the box VPN that you can get up and running within a couple of seconds, then Express can't be beat there. Which leads me to my next point, performance. I would say out of all the VPNs I've tested and reviewed so far, ExpressVPN really excels in this category because they've designed it to feel like it's part of your computer and not just some third-party application. One of my pet peeves when it comes to VPNs is that they start up super slow and I gotta wait till they fully launch, or I end up resorting to setting them to launch on startup, which is something I don't really like doing. But with Express, however, it just takes a couple of seconds to start up, which is very nice to have. And connecting to the VPN server itself also takes that much time. So most of the time it instantly connects the millisecond I press the on button, which is to this day quite mind-boggling. But compared to the other VPNs that take 6-7 seconds to connect, sometimes 10-15 seconds maybe, I don't know, Express is a much better option performance-wise. And then as far as the user interface goes, there's no tabs of different settings and features to get lost in. Like the home screen is literally just a big on button with a server location underneath it. If you're not sure which server to connect to, again, the smart location option will choose the best server for you in terms of speed, distance, and latency. And if you have a specific location in mind, you can click these 3 dots right here, type in that location to the search bar, and double click the server you wish to connect to. And then to access the settings menu, you just press the 3 lines over here and click on settings. Though, I mean, you'll rarely need to access the settings unless you want to maybe use split tunneling or adjust the protocol, but everything is organized neatly in these 3 or 4 sections, and there isn't a wall of text and stuff to worry about, just some boxes to tick and that's it. Now, in line with its UI, one criticism I've heard from some users is that Express looks a bit bland when it comes to the design, and it doesn't have an interactive map like Nord or a big UI with a design like Surfshark. And while that's true, liking or not liking UI or user interface design is almost always a subjective thing. And to me personally, I love how streamlined Express is and how neatly they've organized a window that's like the size of my palm. Besides that, not having animations or interactive maps contribute to slowing of the app performance makes it so much smoother. So there's that. Again, this is entirely subjective and up to you to decide. Moving on to customer support, Express has 24/7 live chat support as well as email support. All you need to do to get into contact with them is just go to their website, click on the chat with us box on the bottom right corner, and you'll be in touch with an agent within a minute. And what's really awesome about their support team is that they can even help with technical issues you might face, and you don't have to get hit with the usual, we're going to forward this to our IT department and contact you back. Actually, one time I had an issue where their Japanese server wasn't working like usual, so they gave me an extra month on my subscription, despite the fact that they ended up managing to fix the server issue a couple of days later. And as I was looking through Reddit user experiences, I noticed that several people had a similar positive experience with their customer service. So as far as customer care goes, they really don't hold back. Finally, when it comes to pricing, you might think that ExpressVPN is pretty expensive, given it's one of the best, if not the best out there. But that's not really the case. It's actually kind of budget friendly. Like you can get a subscription for as little as $5 per month with the 2-year plan, which is less than, say, subscribing to a whole nother streaming platform. You can also opt for the yearly and monthly plans. However, if you think you're going to use it for longer than a month or like actually integrate it into your entertainment options, then I'd recommend getting either the yearly or 2-year plans because you'll be saving the most money compared to paying the full monthly price with the month plan. But either way, Express has a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can just try it out for 30 days and then contact their customer support for a refund if you'd like. If you'd like to check out these plans for yourself, I'll leave the links again to pricing and discounts in the description down below. All right, so with all that said, what are my final thoughts on Express? Would I recommend it? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. If you're not looking for bonus features or fancy designs, Express is as good as a VPN could get, and it's what I consider to be the best in the industry. It's at the top when it comes to privacy, it's extremely fast, it works with every single activity, including accessing streaming services. They have the best customer support team, they've got all the essential features that you might need, like the kill switch or split tunneling. So in short, if you're looking for the best VPN out there, Express is a great choice. So I think I've pretty much covered everything I need to, but if you have any questions or feedback or maybe any suggestions, I'd be happy to read about them in the comments below and get back to you. Otherwise, I hope I helped you get a good grasp on what Express offers and how it can be useful to you. So again, feel free to use the discount links below to get a good deal and let me know what you think. That's all for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.